Don't immediately just go to, I hate him for that.
Yeah.
Which is what, but everybody I know here in Hollywood does that. And it's like, you're first of all, you look weak. You look weak. You look like you're so easily gotten. A lot of women, I think, still want a man to be a man. Not an abusive man, but just a man.
Yes.
Yes, I remember, hey.
You're canceled. How dare you?
Bill Maher just dropped a truth bomb so hard it left CNN's Van Jones staring into the void. Van showed up ready to deliver the usual orange man bad monologue, armed with progressive talking points and a confident grin. But Maher, he wasn't playing along. He lit the fuse, asked the questions no one at CNN would dare touch, and suddenly, Van was fumbling like a freshman in his first debate round. You could feel the tension, like the studio lights dimmed in real time, as the silence set in. So how did this woke wrecking ball of a showdown go down? Buckle up. We're diving headfirst into the moment everything came unglued.
The panel think of Trump's stint as fry cooker at McDonald's. And it's, I mean, I already addressed this, it's like, they see him differently.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
Yes.
I think when you have somebody who is a world famous superstar, who's a billionaire, et cetera, and they do something you don't expect, it's brilliant media. And I think we gotta acknowledge that this guy is beating the pants off of us with these so-called publicity stunts. It gets into everybody's feeds, and people who are not looking at politics will look at that. I think we just have to have more fun ourselves. We were having a great time during the Democratic convention. If we have more fun, if the Democratic Party is a party of fun, people will join it. We should be doing crazy stuff too.
And if I may add one more thing. It's like, don't immediately just go to, I hate him for that.
Yeah.
Which is what, but everybody I know here in Hollywood does that. And it's like, you're first of all, you look weak.
But before Maher dove back into his takedown, let's get one thing straight. Van Jones may have thought he delivered a solid answer, but Maher saw right through it. He doesn't miss the scent of hypocrisy, and in this case, he followed it straight to the source. Here's the thing, plenty of Trump critics don't actually know why they hate him, they just do. Why? Because he's Trump. That's it. It's not grounded in policy, facts, or even logic. It's media-fed emotion, plain and simple, and honestly, it's almost sad. These people have been spoon-fed a non-stop diet of anti-Trump hysteria by legacy outlets, CNN, MSNBC, you name it, and Van Jones's own network? It's not reporting news, it's peddling outrage. No pretense, no balance. Just political theater disguised as journalism. They're not just biased. They're practically spooning with the Democratic Party, whispering curated narratives into America's ear while gaslighting Trump supporters for daring to think differently. When Maher calls out this blind outrage and performative anger, he's not just throwing shade, he's holding up a mirror, and what he's saying is loud and clear. If your opinions are just hand-me-downs from cable news and you get triggered, like a trained parrot every time the word Trump is mentioned, you're not informed. You're being played, and worse, you look weak, you look lost. And Maher, he's not letting that slide.
You look like you overreact to anything. I think politics comes out of personality. I'm going to do something extensive on this one day, but personalities. Your personality first. I know people who are conservative politically because I know them. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
They're squares. and that's okay. And there are people who just, they think Trump is fun like that. I don't get it, but I don't get Taylor Swift.
Maher dropped yet another truth bomb on Van Jones, and this one hit straight to the core. He reminded everyone of a basic principle. We all have choices, and more importantly, the right to make them freely, but outlets like CNN and MSNBC have lost sight of that. They've traded in journalism for activism, acting less like news organizations and more like ideological gatekeepers. Instead of presenting the facts and trusting the public to decide, they've taken it upon themselves to tell us what to think, how to feel, and exactly who to hate. That's not journalism, that's manipulation. Their job is supposed to be simple. Deliver the news, stay neutral, and let the audience draw their own conclusions. But Van Jones and others like him aren't interested in neutrality. For them, it's about advancing an agenda, specifically stopping Trump at any cost. Whether it's peddling half-truths, twisting narratives, or outright dismissing opposing views, the goal is always the same: derail the Trump train. And Maher? He's not just pushing back, he's calling it out for exactly what it is: propaganda wrapped in virtue.
I'm comparing them, but I'm just saying.
I bet you would have bumped me for Taylor Swift too.
What's this?
You would have bumped me for Taylor Swift.
Oh,
too.
and
Exactly.
of course I would.
Everybody else is turning you down.
I'd bump Kamala for Taylor Swift. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
She's a classy person, and the success she's had, the influence she's had is amazing. I just,
Not your cup of tea.
Nikki Glaser was doing my podcast, and I said, I don't get this, Nikki. You've been to 18 concerts. Tell me. And she's like, the music is so amazing. And she said, just watch the Eras tour. It's a 3-hour thing on Apple, I think. And I did not move the needle at all. This is not great music. To me, but that's just me. I don't get her music, and I don't think Trump's jokes about Arnold Palmer's dick are funny, but other people do. It's not relevant.
Another truth bomb drops, and you can practically feel the tension crackle as Van Jones lets out an awkward laugh. He squirms in his seat. Classic signs of someone who just realized they've been caught in the crossfire of hard truth. That's what happens when reality collides head-on with performative wokeness. It's uncomfortable, it's revealing, and yeah, it's painful to watch. The fact is, we live in a free country. Everyone has the right to choose who they support and why. So why the relentless smear campaign against Trump and his supporters? Enough is enough. This isn't about blind loyalty. It's about people making decisions based on what they believe is best for the country. The nonstop gaslighting, painting Trump voters as unhinged for choosing what they see as clarity over. Chaos has to end. Maher nailed it. Freedom of thought and expression is the cornerstone of this nation. And if we can't even have a civil conversation about our differences without the name-calling, the shaming, and the scripted outrage, then what exactly are we standing for?
I also think that there's something happening on the progressive side that it feels like almost all masculinity is considered toxic.
Right.
And so I think the young men may not feel welcome. Like if you're
It's true.
In other words, I don't think it's so much of a pull of an Andrew Tate, though that's playing a role. I think it just may be a push. Like if you show up and you want to be just like a regular, guy's guy, you just may not be eating enough kale and doing enough yoga to fit in on the left.
It's true. Just being a man is a little suspect. Yeah, no, and I think this winds up being not good for women either, because I don't think women like that. Well, I mean,
right.
I mean, the rhetoric may be one thing, but at the end of the day, I know we're all gay and we're all fluid now and we're all trans and but a lot of people are still the old school. There was
the old school from 12 years ago.
Well, there was a default setting.
At this point, it's undeniable. Bill Maher's truth. Bombs hit Van Jones hard. You can see it in his body language, the way he leans in, the subtle shift in his tone. It's like for a split second, he's actually starting to see it. Maybe even acknowledge the uncomfortable truth. Because here's the reality. The toxicity creeping into the modern left is no longer subtle, and Maher's call out was dead on. Progressives, especially in their most extreme corners, have fostered a culture that's openly hostile to masculinity. It's as if simply being a man is now some kind of offense in the eyes of the woke mob. Young men in particular are bombarded with the message that they should apologize for who they are. They're told to check their privilege, suppress their instincts, and constantly second guess their worth, not because of anything they've done, but because of what they were born as.
A lot of women, I think, still want a man to be a man, not an abusive man, but just a man.
Yes.
Yes, I remember, hey.
You're canceled. How dare you?
Yeah, I remember when my mother was a widow the last 15 years of her life. She was always, unhappy, and she said, "I just miss male energy. I need male energy." So plenty we got. Good thing we got plenty of it right here on the planet.